7 Championship UK about to get underway. Off they go and down towards Rich's corner for the first time. Everybody is away cleanly. It's a good start by Matt Armstrong, leads the way down towards that first corner. Harry Senior in the blue car tucks in behind him. Decent getaway by Paul Donkin up into P3 as they swing their way through the right-hander at Rich's down towards Wilson's hairpin for the first time. Senior up on the outside, charging down the outside is Justin Armstrong. He's made a decent getaway. Chris Fraser in there as well. Harry Cook was rather caught napping. He's down to about P6. There's James Hall, who we heard from with Sam prior to the race, just moving up towards the inside as they go to the left-hander at Palmer's corner. Justin Armstrong going through. Looks like he's up in a P3 overall. Great start for the leading AM-class driver as they go down towards Agostini, the left-hander, for the first time. Having a look at the inside there, the number 10 of Henry Heaton. Big lock up there for Harry Landy. Nearly clips the back of Craig Story in the yellow and pink 56 machine. That was a great start by Justin Armstrong, and the Armstrong family running first and third. Yeah, so what a start from Justin Armstrong, but Harry Cook was the sort of loser early on. He was drifting behind Henry, but he's got his sort of managed to get back in line. A bit like we saw yesterday, a little bit sort of the early jitters, maybe not getting the heat into the tyres that he needs to early on, but Matt Armstrong led them away. We're running a staggered grid for the 7 Championship UK this year, which is why a little bit calmer as we went up into turn 1 that time. But they're all up and running. They are all going to be fanning out down this Bentley straight. Interesting from yesterday, we've got a 180-degree change of direction of the wind, which means start-finish straight is going to be even more critical. And watch for cars practicing the draft on the start-finish straight to see whether they can get by the car in front by the time they get to the line. Is that Craig Story off at the back? Yeah, Craig Story tangling with Greg Monks in the number 5. They tangle going into Nelson's corner there. Looks like they could be caught up with a bit of damage. Hopefully they can get those cars going again, but we saw a change for the lead into Brundle. Another car hitting problems. That's Gary Curtis, the number 22. So not too sure what's happened there, whether he was caught up in the aftermath of that incident, but we saw coming down under the bridge at the end of the Bentley Straights into the left-hander at Brundle. It was the 28, yes. Have to wait till later on before he can get it. Bit of a replay here, so he's looking in the background. We're coming into the left of our screen to see whether we can see it already. Oh, there was a bit of a nasty contact there with Greg, wasn't it? I think Greg had already spun and there was nowhere for Craig to go, and there was a wheel-to-wheel contact and that sort of nasty reaction. So a bit of a shock for both of them, but that's going to be, as we've said, sort of retirement. They will have to go and get the low loaders and maybe move those cars to a position of safety. UK Championship opener of the day. The lights go out and away we go up towards Rich's corner. A couple of gaps on the grid. Decent start by Paul Donkin down the outside. Decent start by Harry Senior, side by side with Matt Armstrong, trying to go around the outside into Rich's, and he's done it. Great start by Harry Senior, leads the way around the first corner. They charge up towards the Wilson's hairpin. Donkin slots in third place. Now is Justin Armstrong going to have a go down the outside this time? No, he's not. He's got dropped behind the number 6 of the number 8 rather, Chris Fraser there. There's Tommy Eaton, the yellow car, the local man. He's behind Justin Armstrong, who will be leading the AM class. But as they come around Palmer's corner, named after Dr. Jonathan Palmer, the boss of Motorsport Vision Racing, who own and operate this circuit, ex-Formula 1 driver, of course. It is Harry Senior who leads down towards Agostini. Another big lock up there, Harry Landy. He did that in the first start as well, and he's dropped behind, I think that's Mark Kendall there in the 35. He's going to find that more and more throughout the course of this race. That's 2 massive lockups, probably on exactly the same pieces of rubber. As they become a little bit flat spotted, they tend to lock up on those same spots. He's going to have to struggle with that tyre now for the rest of this race and the next one. They only get 1 new set of tyres per race weekend, but it's Harry Senior got it absolutely hooked up off the line, got that little extra kick that he needed to getting even with the staggered grid. He managed to get ahead by the time we got to turn 1, so great start for him. Matt Armstrong and him continuing their battle. Paul Donkin did do another good start, puts him into that third place, looking for second now, and Harry Cook also managed to get his car off the line. Justin Armstrong, the big loser from the first start compared to the second start. Yes, indeed, he was running third when the red flags came out. Paul Donkin is charging, he's up to second ahead of Armstrong. It's Heaton that leads the way, Senior that leads the way, I should say. Henry Heaton a little bit further back in the pack in the number 10 car, didn't get the best of starts. They charged their way around this long right-hander at Coram, then up towards the left at Murray's, named after the voice of motorsports, Murray Walker, of course. Used to be known as Russell, that corner, after Jim Russell, who ran the racing school here at Snetterton and beyond for many years. They crossed the line for the first time. Paul Donkin's going to the outside as they make the run down towards Rich's corner. Onto the brakes is Senior going back on the inside. Look at Chris Fraser coming up. He's up to 4th. Great move there on the inside of that was Harry Cook. And who's going to get the lead into Wilson's hairpin? Cook having a go on the outside. To the inside goes Matt Armstrong for 2nd place, and he goes through on the brakes. Fraser is 4th. Cook in the number 9 is in 5th position. This is great stuff.
Yeah, Chris Fraser was having some brake problems at the end of testing and through into the start of the race yesterday, but it looks like with that confident move into turn 1, that's all sorted, and he's got that speed coming to the fore in that car. Donkin, though, leads this field now over Senior, and Matt Armstrong going side by side. In fact, lots of side-by-side action with Chris Fraser still fighting with Harry Cook. Harry Cook was sort of put himself back in position, but he's just again lost out a couple of places as these fast charging cars come back through the field. But it's all still together, it's all still absolutely together, and interestingly, Paul Donkin was able to pull alongside as they went up to the start-finish line this time round. It's going to be important with the headwind now coming up the start-finish straight. That's when we get to the end of this, or the next 10 minutes, you watch them, they're going to all try and win this race all together.
Onto the Bentley straight we go then. The Snake is going to start to form up, and they start to weave around to try and break the toe, prevent them from being slipstreamed. Donkin has the lead, but only just. Senior has a look on the inside of Armstrong for that 2nd place. Is he going to go through? No, he's not at Brundle. Into the right-hander at Nelson. Cook in 4th place. Fraser 5th, and he leads the AM class ahead of Justin Armstrong. Behind them, it is Tom Eden. He is running well up there in that 7th place. He's got the number 62 of Darren McCormack behind him.
I wonder what happened to Heaton. He's right at the back of the field.
He's not come through, actually.
Screen. So yeah, where did Heaton go? So we didn't see what happened to him, but he's not managed to make it through. Sometimes that might mean a drive shaft failure. It has happened in the past, and that would be what would happen if you got this many starts. Donkin heads them over the line then. Interestingly, down the Bentley straight that time there was less overtaking, which is what you'd expect given they've got a tailwind down there today. So more overtaking up here into turn 1, less down into the Bentley straight is what I'm going to predict. And Donkin's on the outside of that. He's going to lose out another position now to Harry Senior. Harry Cook looking to see whether he can make anything. In fact, Donkin's late on the brakes there, isn't he, as he heads it through and heads off that line. It's quite a good defensive line, the outside round the Wilson hairpin, as they head up then into left of Palmer's.
Hairpin formerly known as Montreal, of course. It's similar profile to the famous hairpin on the Canadian circuit, renamed after the late great Justin Wilson, the former IndyCar and Formula 1 racer, Formula 3000 champion as well. But as they go into Agostini, having a look there is the 28 of Senior. Chris Fraser going superbly up there in the top 5. He's lost out to Harry Cook, but he still leads the AM division with Justin Armstrong Senior on his tail. Paul Donkin from Senior in this battle, but Matt Armstrong back in front, and now if anything starting to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, he's like a little bit of a comfort gap there, hasn't he, with Donkin having to look into his rear view mirror, and there may have even been a tiny bit of contact into Agostini that time. I saw his head sort of get knocked a little bit like it might have been, but it might have just been me mistaking that. But again, this weaving down the back straight, remember the toe's not quite as strong today, which is why we're not seeing that kind of big fan out moment, and actually Harry Senior having to defend from Harry Cook. So the two Harrys going at it again as we watch McCormack and Harry's it's Harry Landy. There's too many Harrys, aren't there? But Landy going through, and he's probably suffering vibrations from those two early big lockups that he had, maybe just not getting the tyres up to temperature and the brakes up to temperature as much as he needed. But it was Donkin across the line last time, but it's not going to be this time. It looks like Matt Armstrong is going to take that with Harry Senior just behind him, then Donkin, and then we've got the rest.
Couple of cars getting the black and white flag as a warning for exceeding track limits. Tom Eden is one of them. Darren McCormack is the other, but Darren has done the fastest lap, 1:59.742. Never mind that though, because there's a challenge on for the lead down into the right-hander. Harry Landy just does the fastest lap as Donkin gets around the outside, takes the lead into Richards. A great move there up the outside line into the hairpin. Here comes Senior on the inside of Harry Cook. A tale of two Harrys once again in the battle for third position. They've got ahead of Chris Fraser, who's still there in 5th and leading the AM class.
Yep, all changed then, so it is all the overtaking happening up into turn 1 now. It's going to be less so down that Bentley straight, so all the tactics that they could have learned from yesterday, they're going to have to readjust. Donkin finding his way to the front, but maybe the front isn't exactly the place you want to be when we come to the final couple of laps. Chris Fraser down the inside of Justin Armstrong. They're going to go side by side with a little bit of contact there as Chris Fraser's car just jinked a little bit, lost a bit of rear grip and just slid slightly wide. So Justin's going to have to lick that one and see whether he can send it for the next corner. But it is Donkin heading the field then over Matt, over Harry, the two Harrys, and actually they've been swapping quite consistently those four pro-ams that they've got at the front, ahead of the field.
Where is Justin Armstrong? He'll want at very minimum to get back ahead of Chris Fraser, retake the lead of the AM class. Now let's see what's going to happen down into Brundle this time. Is Matt Armstrong going to have another go for the lead? He goes to the inside, he's surely going to get through. He does, retakes the lead from Paul Donkin. Harry Cook is there in third position. He's staying ahead only just of Harry Senior. The four of them starting to break away very slightly now from Chris Fraser in fifth place. They go through the bomb hole. You see that the circuit drops down into a dip through there. It was named by motorcycle racers when Snetterton first opened. Through the long right-hander at Caterham, then up towards Murray's. What's the order going to be as they come towards us? Towards the line, Matt Armstrong has the lead. Now is he going to be slipstream? 7 minutes of this 15 minutes race to go. Up over the line they come, a black and white flag being displayed for number 98 James Hall for a warning for track limits. Paul Donkin has the lead back again, and here comes Harry Cook on the inside. The number 9, he's through, he's got second position. Importantly,
Donkin was past Armstrong by the time they got to the line, so that is an important bit of information for him and for later in the race. Harry Cook looking down the inside again, good on the brakes now. He's got his car and himself fully up to temperature. Matt Armstrong finds himself as far back as he has been throughout the course of this race, and then the other Harry, Harry Senior, just sort of paying a watching brief at the moment. He'll be seeing whether he can get involved. Still got 6 minutes left, so still no panic stations at the moment. Talk about 3 laps, more jinking and jiving as they head down towards Agostini, then just desperately trying not to give that tow any more than necessary to the drivers behind. Obviously, as soon as someone pulls alongside, that has to stop. The weaving has to stop, otherwise they'll be told, they'll be penalised for that weaving. Yeah, interesting. Keep an eye on those track limits. It did come into effect a little bit yesterday. Justin Armstrong getting caught out, and let's see whether anyone else is. Well, everyone hopefully will stay within the confines of the circuit, and therefore we get this nice clean race to the finish.
Harry Cook has got the fastest lap, 1:59.102. Very impressive lap times here indeed. In fact, all of the top 9 are lapping in the 1:59 bracket. They come down the Bentley straight at 89.8 miles an hour. Fantastic average for Harry Cook. He's going for the lead on Paul Donkin around the outside into Brundle. He's done it. Brilliant from Harry Cook. He leads a Caterham 7 Championship UK race for the first time. Donkin trying to fight back, around a little bit wide there, the lead pair coming out of Nelson. Senior in third place, and Matt Armstrong is back down to 4th. It's between these 4 for the lead. The next group headed up by Fraser and Justin Armstrong. Through the morning sunlight they come out of Caterham into Murray's, and who knows what's going to happen down the centre straight this time. Yeah,
I predict all swap at the front there as they're going up into this headwind then, so Donkin is going to lead them just about as they go across the line, but it was Donkin, so again he got straight past Cook as they went out of the final corner. Harry Senior now into that second place, so I said he was watching brief last time. You can see how tactical it's going to be towards the end of this race, working out where do you want to be. That final start-finish straight is going to be ever so important, but Donkin again finds himself at the front, but it has been this 4 pretty consistently, and I think Matt Armstrong's going to depose Harry Cook as well, although they're going to disagree as they go into Palmer's this time. But Harry Cook, yeah, absolutely finding himself at home with this 420R car, just as he was with the 310R car last time. Justin Armstrong gets the head then in the Pro-Am Championship ahead of Chris Fraser.
I just saw a board going out from the Marshall post on the Senna straight at the start-finish line, but I couldn't see what it said. It may have said 5-second penalty, but we haven't had any notification come up on the timing screen, so I'll keep an eye on that one as Donkin leads them. He runs a little bit wide there at Hamilton, but stays ahead of Senior now second. Cook in third place. He's still got the fastest lap. Armstrong in 4th place. Justin Armstrong, as we saw, now leads the AM division in P5 as they go onto the Bentley straight once again. Just under 4 minutes of this race still to go. Still your leader is Paul Donkin, but for how much longer?
The lap record around here for these cars is a 158.317 set by Tim Dickens last year, so they've still got a little bit of time to get that, but obviously track conditions and wind direction makes a big difference to small little car. Only weighs just over half a ton, this 7420R car, so it's it can get affected badly by the wind. But Harry Cook currently leading Matt Armstrong, so Matt Armstrong has been steadily shuffled back, but he is now in the prime position to go and get the toe up this start finish straight. Let's see whether he can get up to second, a bit like Harry Senior did last time out. So let's see who's going to get that big exit. As you say, the sunlight dazzling us in the commentary box, and also will be causing the drivers to squint no less as well.
Yeah, the time penalty has now come up, 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits to 98. James Hall, who's down in 12th place, so he's got a penalty, unfortunately. Down the straight come the leaders into Riches, and Paul Donkin has been able to hold his lead ahead of Harry Senior in second place, Cook in third, Matt Armstrong in fourth. Now what's going to happen into the hairpin? It's going to be Armstrong at the inside, going to try and take third place away, and he does so up into P3. Here's the battle for the lead in the AM class, and Chris Fraser's got back ahead of Justin Armstrong. Yeah,
great battle in this AM class as well. They're absolutely swapping places each time they come round. 2 minutes 24, this will be their penultimate lap then. Chris Fraser having a bit of a rear end step out on him then in an awkward way, an awkward time. That's going to cost him time, and Justin might well have a go down the outside of Agostini. He is going to pull to the outside, doesn't regularly work that. He's late on the brakes though. Is he going to go all the way around the outside? That's almost impossible. Chris Fraser's going to have position on track, but they are still wheel to wheel then as they go into Hamilton. You can see them jostling for track position. He's done it.
I've never seen that work before. That's incredible from Justin Armstrong. I've never seen an outside pass at Agostini work in any form of racing before. That is a brilliant piece of driving.
Bravo! What a move, and opportunistic there. Just to say, Chris Fraser had a little bit of a hiccup as he went through Palmer's, and that was enough to let the momentum around the outside here. So what a move. The AM class there showing how it's done as we watch this. Chris Welch there following on as well behind Metcalf as they head down. Then the leaders into the Brundle Nelson, still side by side then between Harry Cook and Matt Armstrong. They're going to disagree on this piece of track. That's a bit awkward there, and they're going to still be side by side as they go through the bomb hole. Justin Armstrong heading Chris Fraser, Tom Eden and Harry Landy in this AM Championship.
Yeah, the battle between Fraser and Justin Armstrong is allowing Tom Eden to close in, and he'll want a class win on his local circuit here at Snetterton in that black and yellow number 64. Harry Landy, after his slight mistake at Agostini on the first lap when he locked up the front wheels, has fought his way back onto the tail of this group. So we've got two four-way battles. Meantime, as the leaders charge their way over the line to begin their final lap. Up the outside comes Harry Senior. Can he get through? Not quite. Matt Armstrong can't quite get past Harry Cook either. He was ahead at the line, but Cook is ahead as they go into Riches around the outside. Here comes the 28 of Harry Senior, the light blue car. Is he going to try and cut to the inside off the hairpin? I don't think so. What about the AM battle for 5th position overall? It's Justin Armstrong still in front, but only just ahead of Chris Fraser.
I think Senior's maybe holding station there as much as he can. The problem is he's got the other cars that aren't going to play ball with him. He was seeing whether he could hold that gap towards the end and just be in his second place as he went up the start finish straight. But I think he's now having to concentrate more on his mirrors because Harry Cook and Matt Armstrong, as soon as they stopped going side by side through, Matt Armstrong very late in that corner. His car's slowed down quite significantly for no apparent reason then, so let's keep an eye on that. But it's Donkin out front over Harry Senior, who's in the prime seat at the moment if he can keep there, but Harry Cook is definitely going to try and stop him.
Yes, Matt Armstrong has suddenly dropped away there. Whether he's got a problem, I'm not too sure. The leaders,
if the car overheats, it might go into a sort of slightly less power mode, so it did look like he just lost a bit of drive, didn't it?
Yes, indeed. I'm not too sure what's happened there. It's 3 for the lead as they come down towards the bridge and Brundle for the last time. In the background we can see Justin Armstrong still leading the AM category. Harry Senior up the inside. They go into Brundle. He's through. Now,
is that the right move?
Does he want to be leading going into the, or coming out of the last corner, or will he be slipstreamed if he does that?
Did Donkin let that happen? Yeah, did Donkin deliberately let that happen? Because it was a bit of an awkward overtake, wasn't it? Here we go. Will the overtake happen before the line then? It's time to find out.
Here we go then. Senior from Donkin, Harry Cook in behind them. Can he capitalise here? The checkered flag is at the ready on our Dutch Vodka Caterham 7 Championship UK race. Here they come up towards the line. Who is it going to be? The checkered flag is at the ready. Will it be Senior or Donkin up towards the line? Donkin up alongside him. He's got it. Donkin gets it. He timed that. He did that absolutely perfectly. And Paul Donkin wins by 78 thousandths of a second.